All right, everybody, I'm back. Lap number 2 completed. I went real hard, real fast then. And so, there's a subject that is really hard to talk about, but it's so much factual information about it that it's got to be some kind of truth. If not this reality, and an alternate universal reality of a parallel existence. Maybe it's just my existence and not none of yours. But at one time, there was great peace on the earth. And there were free energy devices everywhere. Some of the biggest buildings were built to purposely transmit through the ether, wireless communication and wireless electricity. And you can look it up, but they call it Tartarian or Tartaria Empire. But they were all over the earth, and all of the buildings they built are very similar. The doorways were huge. But I want to talk about a reset. Evidently, there's happened to have reset us 3 or 4 times. And now some of it's due to a calamity that occurs on a periodical basis. And it comes around. And we thought it was 2012, but evidently the factual information on that was not true. And it wasn't 2012. Everything changed, though, after 2012. And everything's going to change again after you wake your ass up tomorrow. It's a whole nother world, a whole nother day. But the thing I'm talking about is a story. I'm going to get to the bottom of it, and I'll share it with you, make videos about it. But I remember when I was real young and I heard it, that 20 million Russians died. Well, that's just the beginning of the story. These people had left their homes and moved as far north to the Arctic Circle as they could get. And they were devastated, wiped out. Nothing exists of them. And they called them the people that knew yesterday. In other words, they knew the old ways, and they were labeled as the people that believed in the old ways. And the propaganda makes it sound out like they were real religious. No, they weren't religious like you think. They were spiritually enlightened, Christ-conscious beings that had memory still in their DNA and still in their ability to understand that they had been reset. And we're at that point now, people. It comes together when the collective consciousness starts talking about the untalkable. And that's what's happening. That's why I'm posting Josh Hawley's videos and Ted Cruz and a couple of other people. That Marjorie Greene, she's on fire for the truth. And you're starting to just see the beginning. And this information's getting out. The dark side had a plan to reset us because we was remembering the old ways. And they don't want us to do that. They want to control everything. So when you hear them talk about the swamp and you hear them talk about the dark, deep, dark side of everything, it's Luciferian energy. It's the Nephilims, the ones that fell, the fallen angels. And the servants to them, that's what you see running things in front of the camera. But behind the camera, the Nephilims still breathe and have their being in physical flesh form. Don't mean that they own that body. Just means they might be wearing it or borrowing it, if you know what I mean. There's a bunch of us starting to have memories about wars, and it's hard to see if it's the future or the past. In my situation, I'm literally at night, I'm taken, and I go into these deep dreams, and when I'm taken, I start becoming lucid in them, and I start paying attention to, it's not this reality that I'm from. It's another alternative reality. And in those realities, we're trying to solve problems. We're trying to save lives. And we're trying to educate ourselves and educate others. And some of the missions that I go on, I'm having to utilize my super soldier part. And that part's starting to bleed through to this reality and this buddy. In other words, I've always known that when I set my mind to get healthy, I had no other choice. But I didn't know why. And so I kept having these dreams. And one of the dreams I'll tell you real quick. I'm riding my bicycle. I'm at night. There's roadblocks everywhere. And I've got to take valuable messages to people. And I may have to ride in that night 100 miles. And I can do it. I can do it in this reality. And I did it in that alternative reality. And if it comes to the physical manifestation in this world, in this reality, not only can I do that, but they'll never see me. That's what I'm saying. I'd be dressed in black and I wouldn't even need night goggles. Something's changed about my eyes, people. The last 4 times over the last 8 years I had eye tests, my eyes are getting better and better. I can ride a bicycle at night with no problem. Once my eyes get adjusted to the dark, it's like I can see in the dark. Now this is for y'all to think about. If I can do that and have the health that I do at 62, to not have a problem with riding a bicycle from here to Houston, Texas, I can do it. I don't want it to come to the fact that they got us locked down like cows and that we have to kick on our super soldier parts and connect and find this reality in a turmoil. I want you to know you're having those memories now and those dreams where you know that you're in an alternate reality. Let's stop and coalesce everything back down into this moment of now and this time continuum. Let's realize that we're all one. If I'm breathing, you're breathing. If I'm loving you, you're loving yourself. Like Christ said, there's only one of us. And that one has to stand up in its authority of the resurrected power of the I am, of Christ consciousness, and declare to the collective consciousness, wake up, become unified in your reality of your true identity. You're not a physical body. You're not your name. You're not your carnal thinking and your carnal brain, and this body is not who you are. You're a light body being inhabiting a physical form. It's like we're stuck in a matrix and we're living in an AI alternate subliminal reality. And we can blink in and we can blink out, and we're doing it. And now we're starting to catch ourselves doing it. And that's when the magic starts. That's when the happiness really sinks into who you really are. It makes life worth living. We're living in the greatest times. We're fixing to see a whole world system of government that was led and headed by the Luciferian, Anunnaki, Illuminatis. Those that remember the old ways. Awaken and arise. We're going to have fun. We're going to rejoice on the backside of this. And we're going to, in a funny way, start over. Build back. They want to say better. No, we're going to build back God-like, true light, conscious light, and live out of the resurrected power of the I Am through self-realization of the I Am presence of Christ consciousness living on each and inside each atom and each cell, DNA molecules, down to the mitochondria cells and the telomeres. We're speaking life to each other and to our situations. And the world's going to only get better and better. But it got to get better in you first. Get rid of all the trash thinking and start loving yourself. And then ask Father, Mother, God to reveal to you these things. Y'all have a good one. I'm going to leave all that with you. If you don't like it, I don't care. If you like it, leave a comment. Tell me you like it. If you don't, that's okay. You're going to get it when you need to get it. Y'all have a good one.